I genuinely forgot to press play there. Welcome to Brekky In The Cave. We're live on Cubcam TV. Out to everyone locking in nice and early. I sees ya. Got a wicked show on the way. I'm going to let this one run through from Motu and Nico Lindsay first.
No play serious type of mode. Inside the filter, inside the goal. Them lot just want for pose. Them yell for no. Things set right tonight I for roll. Wanna be wife, I don't know. Let me see in a month or two, then I sure let you know.
Wicked tune this one. Let's get into it.
No play serious type of mode. Inside the filter, inside the goal. Them lot just want for pose. Them yell for no. Things set right tonight I for roll. Wanna be wife, I don't know. Let me see in a month or two, then I sure let you know. Yo, let me see.
As I said, this is Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. Out to my locked in crew. For some reason I've got a little bit of trouble with my controller today. Not too sure why. But you know, we work with things like this, you know? We call them the Brecknicles. They only happen once the show starts.
Out
to my locked in crew, nice and early. As always, let us know how you're feeling in the comments section. The live chat. Hit like on the video. It expands the reach like you would not believe. And it takes less than a second for you to do, so please do.
Inside the filter, inside the goal. Them lot just want for pole.
And yeah, it's going to be a good one, so don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I know. Things set right tonight I for roll. Wanna be wife, I don't know, let me see. In a month or two, then I surely you know. Codename Linny, Barbara Izzy, anti-social Izzy. On my busy, flow select fizzy. Gas up crowds, ain't got the best physique. Gal aroused, shoot to the aura. Age 14 with a sock, but inside the bora. Grew up, didn't get taller. Wiser without the bud, bit in the bud, got caught. Yo, codename done the microphone bunham. Them gums running behind backs is stunning. Gally want wood, them man just put tongue in. Everyone's holding heat, but ain't bussing. Vocals lay on drums, bass percussion.
That's a man like Cal Sorensen.
More time for them man there's no luck in. Same look different, yeah, you're still stuck in. Them boy for no play serious type of mode. Inside the filter, inside the them lot just want for pose. Them yell for no.
Hey there, bro.
Tonight I for roll. Wanna be wife, I don't know. Let me see in a month or two, then I sure let you know. You. Them boy for no play serious type of mode. Inside the filter, inside the goal. Them lot just want for pose. Them yell for no. Things set right tonight I for roll. Yeah. Wanna be wife, I don't know. Let me see in a month or two, then I sure let you know. Listen, yo. Blown away, Selenki on deck, code name while I spray. Gun fingers in the air, spend the night grade it and get the best grades. But it's a new day, move over. Gala wine waist, a man about shoulder. Real vibes inside, no time for poser. Till the painting sent over. Give her the beat that she can't get over. Wavy style, but it went sober. I can go deeper, reflective and bubbly. Have you moving your body like soca? Fizzy no soda, life in a game, but it's all down to the cards that you pick. Nothing like poker. Big batty ting bent over. Not really social, but
Alright then, my friends, that one there coming to us from Nico Lindsay and Motu. That one forthcoming Rosca Kicks and Snares on the Motu Collection Volume 1. That drops on Friday. Exclusive business out to my Juno download gang each and every time, providing me with the goodies, obviously to bring you some fresh flavours. Out to man like Luke Parker in the chat this morning saying, morning dude, listening in from Sheffield. Good to hear from you, sir. How's things in Sheff? I know 2 people in Sheffield in the world, so you are number 3. There we go. Good stuff, you see. We're here to grow. We're here to expand what it is we do, and we're here to just, more than anything else, just add some extra bits to our wonderful little lives. So, what we have got on the way, we're going to be looking through 2 very special guests, as you can see. We're going to be joined today by J69, first of all. He's on the right. I don't know why I've done them that way around, but, you know, we're just doing things different today. There we go. J69 joins us. We're going to be talking about UK bass music, his kind of input in that, obviously the years he's been working, his very kind of niche influence sound, looking at what's going on there, working with MCs. Going to be a really, really good conversation. As well as that, we're going to be talking to Thomas FRASER of Coyote Records fame. As well as that, he also writes for Mixmag, so we're going to be talking to him about a number of different topics, looking into what the sort of things he looks for in releases when he is writing about music. We're also going to be looking into what he looks for when he's signing music, the success Coyote have had over the years, looking into UK wave music culture and loads of different things there, so it's going to be really enjoyable to talk to him. And yeah, just in general, it's going to be a really enjoyable show. We've got some really exciting news bits to look through as well. We're going to be looking through some of these BET nominations. We're going to be looking at a crocodile. Apparently they lived 120 million years ago and walked like a dinosaur. The pictures are hilarious, so we're going to look through that. A couple of other news nuggets and, of course, some fresh music. So I'm going to play this tune from Breaker to kick us off today, because this tune, I tell you what, You know when you just hear a tune and it excites you more than anything else. You hear a tune and you just think this is good. I'm enjoying this. This is the first time I've ever heard of Breaker. I believe he's based in Leeds, making some really cool sort of garage breakbeat fusion kind of sounds. It's a really, really cool EP that drops on Friday from him, which is available on all stores via his own imprint, which I believe is just Breaker Music, I believe is the name of it. But yeah, you can expect a lot of coverage on this one from myself. Obviously, Juno 3000, the whole works. But yeah, out to everyone supporting the channel and joining us nice and early today. We started the week on just over 400 subs. We're now up to a solid 430. So we're growing very rapidly in over the course of 2 days, which is very exciting indeed. So out to everyone who has all the new subscribers, obviously all the new people liking the video. If you are locked into this one today and it's your first time logging into the show, please do subscribe to the channel. We're always broadcasting here on Cubcam TV, moving through Monday to Friday on the 10 to 11:30 slot. That's going to change most likely come August when I go back to Trickstar. We're most likely going to be doing an hour from 9 till 10 as part of the breakfast show that I run over on Trickstar Radio. So that's going to be an enjoyable transition as well. Obviously the setting will change. We'll be back in a proper studio, not the cave, but we're going to carry on with Cave Talk though, which is definitely a project that I'm enjoying doing. We recorded the most recent Cave Talk yesterday and we've got that dropping this evening on the channel. A man like Treble Clef joined us, so we're going to be if you want to subscribe, you'll be able to take a peek at that. Very enjoyable project, I've got to say. I love talking to people. I love the long form content we're able to put together here on the channel. But for the time being, let's get into this one from Breaker, going by the name of Liquid Gold. As I said before, please do hit that subscribe button, hit like on the video as well, and let us know how you're feeling in the chat. Let's get some conversation going. You know how we do. We like to keep it nice and sociable here on Cubcam TV. So keep it locked. It's Brekky in the Cave. Oh yes. Super smooth vibes on this one coming from Breaker, going by the name of Liquid Gold. This one is dropping on the 2020 Breaker 002 release. Good morning, my friends. How are we all feeling? It's a bright day. How is everyone finding it? Lovely stuff on this one coming from Breaker. Track going by the name of Liquid Gold, forthcoming this Friday. We're running some exclusives for you this morning here on Cubcam TV, and that's how we like to do it. Out to my locked-in crew this morning. Obviously, as I said before, please do hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. We do stream here live Monday to Friday on Brekky In The Cave, bringing you fresh music, loads of news, and of course some amazing guests. We're going to be talking to J69 in around 20 minutes or so. Really looking forward to getting into that conversation. After that, we'll be talking to Thomas FRASER of COYOTE Records fame. So there we go. It's going to be a good, enjoyable show this morning. And as I've said before, you can check out the shows if you're late to them, or you just want to check the audio and not have YouTube open. You can check them out usually around an hour after they go live on YouTube. As you can see, we do go onto Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. As you can see in the top right hand. I always get it wrong. That corner there. That one there. I think that's about right there. That corner there, you can see we're live on all those different platforms as well. And also you can check me out on different socials as well. I'm very active these days. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and of course SoundCloud. I don't know if you can class SoundCloud as a social media network, but they're all at KXVU. So there we go. Right, let's crack on with some news then, shall we? I'm feeling some news right about now. Let's have some news. Right, the BET Awards have been, the nominees have been announced. Oh, here we go. The BET have revealed the nominees for their 2020 edition, and among their nominees are some of the UK's biggest names. Both Stormzy and Dave have been making waves worldwide in recent years, and they are up against each other in the Best International Act category alongside Inos B, Show Majosi, Nino, Espiri Noir, and Burna Boy. Ooh, that's going to be difficult. Another act who's been flying a flag overseas is Nottingham's very own Young T and Bugsy. The duo are in the running for the Viewer's Choice Best New International Act Award. With 5 nominations each, Drake, Megan Thee Stallion, and Roddy Ricch lead the BET 2020 Awards nominees. The ceremony is set to take place virtually on June the 28th, where the winner of each category will be revealed. So let's run through some of these. Best Female R&B/Pop Artist. You've got Beyonce, Her, you've got Gene Aiko, Kalani, Lizzo, and Summer Walker. Best Male R&B/Pop Artist. You've got Anderson .Paak, Chris Brown, Jaquez, Khalid, The Weeknd, and Usher. I mean, The Weeknd's got to win that, surely, following on from the album. I mean, let's be real. I'll be surprised if he doesn't. Looking for a couple of these. I'm not going to do all of them because there's about 30 different categories. I'm just going to look through some of them. Best collaboration in here. You've got Chris Brown and Drake with No Guidance. Khalid and Nipsey Hussle with Higher. You've got Future and Drake with Life Is Good. Her and YG with Slide. Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj and Ty Dolla $ign with Hot Girl Summer. And Wale and Jeremiah with Chill. Best Male Hip-Hop Artist. DaBaby, Drake, Future, Lil Baby, Roddy Ricch, and Travis Scott. Best Female, you've got Cardi B, Doja Cat, Lizzo, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, and Saweetie. I mean, I'd say Doja Cat wins that, but there's been a bit of controversy around Doja Cat recently, which I haven't, to be honest, I haven't looked into that much. I probably should have. Looking for this, they've got the movie section, which is always interesting. Bad Boys for Life, Dolomite Is My Name, Harriet, Homecoming, a film by Beyonce, Just Mercy, and Queen and Slim. They're all in there. Best International Act. Now, here we go. This is where it gets interesting. International acts, you've got Burna Boy, Inos, B, Show, Majosi, Dave, Stormzy, Nino from France, and Espiri Noir from France as well. So, I mean, it's interesting. There's as many French rappers on there as there are UK rappers, but the best new international acts on this list is where it gets very interesting indeed. You've got Rema from Nigeria, you've got Shasha from Zimbabwe, you've got Celeste from Brighton, UK, although it says she's from London, she is from Brighton. I went to school with her. Young T and Bugsy on that list as well, along with Hattic and Stacey from France. 2 separate nominations there. So it's an interesting selection for the BET Awards this year. As I said, the awards will be, I believe, live streamed on June the 28th, I believe it is. I'm sure there'll be more details online about that if you want to go and look up online. But there we go. Very interesting stuff. And I'll be interesting to see how many, if the UK takes home any BET Awards. It'll be really cool to see. I had this podcast we recorded yesterday with Treble Clef. We were talking quite in depth about how much the UK is influencing world music and how strong the UK scene currently is. It's probably the strongest that we've ever seen the UK scene. So to see it, obviously the addition of BET Award nominations come into that fold as well is really sick to see. So there we go. Out to everyone locked in right about now. As I keep saying, please do hit the like button. I can see how many people are locked in. So if you'll hit the like button, it makes it a lot more reachable and a lot more people are able to actually see it on timelines and things like that. So do me a favor and click that like button and we can get loads of people into this and have a bit of a conversation this morning. So next up, we're going to jump into this one from Kellis, track entitled A Girl, forthcoming on Downplay, one of my favourite garage labels right about now. And it's a wicked tune. And then after that, we're going to get into some more news, and then we're going to have a chat with J69. So there we go. It's going to be a good morning, guys. Keep it locked. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. Oh, yes. This one forthcoming on Slime Recordings, Downplay to be specific, coming by the name of A Girl. Kells on the production. What am I talking about? Brekky In The Cave, baby.
Hey, Sabrina here, and you're tuned into Breakfast with the man himself, KXVU. Hey, Sabrina here, and
they always loop.
And it's Brucey, and right now you're locked into KOYOTE. Don't play king.
Smooth garage flavours on this one. So I'm putting the voice on. Inside the cave. Lovely stuff. I just feel garage is a good way to kick off the morning, you know. I've always found with UKG, the smoother stuff works wonders if you're trying to wake up. I woke up late again today, you know. But then I was up late doing prep for today. So, you know, it's one of those ones. Anyway, let's crack on with some more news, shall we? We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. Soon to be live on Trickstar Radio as well. So if you're hearing this, you could well be hearing the show live via Trickstar Radio. That's what we're trying to do now. You know, we're trying to expand what we're doing on this show. And I think we are going to be taking the legacy of Brekky In The Cave over to Trickstar when we go back to doing the regular breakfast show, which will be from 7 till 10 in the AM. So there we go. Let's crack on then. An ancient species of crocodile that lived 120 million years ago may have had 2 hind legs and walked just like dinosaurs. Okay, fair enough. It's a weird looking thing, I've got to say. What are we on? We're on Metro Science. This is where we are this morning, people. It's going to be a good one. Their work is based on analysis of a large, well-preserved footprint discovered in the Sancheon Jahai-ri excavation in South Korea. The researchers first thought the fossil foot impressions were from ancient reptiles known as Pterosaur. I don't know why saying it 4 times is going to make it any easier to understand. Pterosaur. But investigations revealed the footprints to have heel-to-toe impressions, which paleontologists believe is unlikely to have been made by flying reptiles. Dr. Anthony Ramillo from the University of Queensland in Australia and one of the study authors said at one site the footprints were initially thought to be made by giant bipedal pterosaur. Walking on mudflats. We now understand these were bipedal crocodile prints. This is a weird article to read, I've got to say. I'm not... Can you tell I'm not a... I'm not a scientific journalist. But the fine details of the toe pads and scales on the creature's soles preserved at the site are thought to be proven otherwise. Dr. Ramillo said the footprints measure around 24 centimeters, suggesting the track makers had legs about the same height as a human adult. Okay, fair enough. That's quite high. Why have I still got garage playing in the background? Can you be quiet, please? These were long animals that we estimate were over 3 meters in length. So there were crocodiles 3 meters in length with back legs. That's a bit terrifying. But saying that, you know, in like films and stuff, when like a crocodile is the main bad thing. I get that crocodiles are like scary things. I understand why. They are lethal, they're super quick or whatever when they're in water. But as soon as they get on land, as long as you're about like 15 meters away from them, they're not going to get you, unless I'm very, very much mistaken here. I'm not trying to sound like the odd man that time forgot, but I've always just found it a little bit weird that like crocodiles are often seen in the same bracket as like lions or bears, you know, like or polar bears. Like I've always found it a little bit weird because like they're moderately slow on land, aren't they? Unless I need to go and watch more Blue Planet or something like that and completely change my opinion on them. But from what I was aware, I was under the impression that crocodiles weren't that lethal a thing if you just take them out of water. But anyway, there we go. That's what we're learning today. Maybe I'm about to get my opinion completely flipped onto its head. Out to all the locked in crew this morning, we are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. As I said before, please do hit that like button. It takes you less than a second to do it. It completely dramatically increases the reach of the video, and it makes for better listening for everyone because it means more people can see it and they can enjoy what you are currently enjoying, which is this lovely breakfast show. Out to my locked in crew, out to Luke, out to Cal Sorensen as well. We are going to be talking to J69 in just over how long? In about 5-6 minutes or so it should be a good one. I'm looking forward to talking to him about everything bass. Obviously there's a bit of history there to dive into as well, the kind of original niche sound, and a load of other bits as well, so make sure you are locking in and keeping locked for the next hour or so. We've got 2 banging interviews on the way. For the time being though, let's get into some more fresh music from the today's selections. We're going to keep it quite garagey, we're going to keep the vibes good and lively. That's what I like to do. This one coming to us from Strictly House and Garage, whose catalog number name always makes me laugh. I don't know why. I'm a child, but their catalog number name is Shag, which is always going to make me laugh because I am a petulant child who finds euphemisms funny. But yeah, this one brand new from Jodan. It dropped I think 2 days ago. It goes by the name of Raving Night. Really cool tune. Something a little bit more old school, a bit more experimental from Jodan, who I'm seeing definitely move into the. He's definitely moving a lot more into the sort of garage sort of side of things. Obviously, we've seen him get busy in sort of like deep house and bass and things like that, obviously in grime and dubstep as well, so to see him kind of expand his repertoire even further towards a much more what is essentially rave music sort of approach is sick to see. This one going by the name of Raving Light. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave right about now, having a wonderful start to the morning. Out to my locked in crew, don't go anywhere and keep it locked. J69 will be joining us in just a couple of minutes. Oh yes.
It's KXVU. Stay locked.
Yo, this is Witty Boy, and right now you're tuning to The Breakfast Show with KXVU. Keep it locked.
Oh, yeah. That's Luke Parker saying, yes, KXVU. Shagger from Chef. Shaggers from Chef. The nights are mad. I've heard really good things about the events, I've got to say. They put out banging music as well. That's what we're here to listen to.
It's the raving night. It's the raving night. Big up the girl and woulda just tight. It's the raving night. Big up the girl and woulda just tight. Now skank it out to the left, to the right. Both at the man, them doing it right. And again, it's the raving night. Big up the girl and woulda just tight. Now skank it out to the left, to the right. Both at the man, them doing it right. Yo, this one goes to my man, them crew. Just big up the girl and raving too. Ain't that my 4-4 massive crew. Now skank it out, just do what I do. This one goes to my girl and crew. Just big up the man, them raving too. Ain't that my 4-4 massive crew. Now skank it out, just do what I do. It's the raving night.
Those chords are so much fun.
It's the raving night. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out, just do what I do. It's the raving night. Big up the girl and woulda just tight. It's the raving night. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out, just do what I do. It's the raving night. Big up the girl and woulda just tight. Now skank it out to the left, to the right. Both at the man, them doing it right. And again, it's the raving night. Big up the girl and woulda just tight. Now skank it out to the left, to the right. Both at the man, them doing it right. Yo, this one goes to my man, them crew. Just big up the girl and raving too. Ain't that my 4-4 massive crew. Now skank it out, just do what I do. This one goes to my girl and crew. Just big up the man, them raving too. Ain't that my 4-4 massive crew. Now skank it out, just do what I do. It's the raving night. Big up the girl and woulda just tight. It's the raving night. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out, just do what I do. Skank it out to the right. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out to the left, to the right. Skank it out, just do what I do.
Friends, we are back on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave, and we are moving into our first guest of the day. Man like J69 joins us right about now, live on the line. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm good, sir. I'm full of beans, as they say. I feel. I don't know why. I think I may have got a little bit more sleep than normal. I woke up a little bit later. Probably that's why. But yeah, in a good mood, man. It's a nice day. Everything's looking good. So we're gonna enjoy ourselves.
Exactly.
That's what we like to see.
That's what life's about. That's what life's here for.
Entirely, bro. It's all about enjoying ourselves. And thank you for coming on the show. Obviously, I love the fact that we're able to bring such a different sort of wide variety of producers and just figures in general onto this show. And obviously, you're someone who's very kind of located in UK base. You're quite well established in the scenes you're in. I saw the little Facebook blue tick. I've got to say, it's always impressive to see. But yeah, in general, how long have you been working in and around bass music now?
Oh gosh, too long.
Don't say that, sir.
2007 is when I first sort of got into it all as a listener more than anything. But very at the time, well, to be honest, I wanted to be a radio presenter.
Okay.
So that was like my interests back then. Sort of doing what you do really.
Oh.
But more sort of classic, you know, playing steps instead of some banging bass line or whatever.
What step song?
Yeah.
What step song specifically? Right off the bat.
Oh, God knows. I just used to do like online radio and just sort of present and stuff, and then I come across I think like every bassline producer, I come across a Jamie Duggan mix CD, sort of passed down from the elders at school, the year 11s, and it come down to us in year 7, and it was March 2007. It was the first sort of monthly mix that I got my hands on, and not looked back since.
There we go. So we're talking 13 years in and around bassline at this point, then.
Yeah. I've seen. I think I've probably seen about 3 generations now.
I mean, obviously, a question I always like to ask on this channel, especially to people that are very well established within their sort of respective scenes, is if you were to kind of look over those 3 generations, what would you say the main difference is, like musically, between all of them?
I think, well, there's been a massive change in the sound. I don't like using this word because it can come across quite negative, but it's a lot more screechier.
Okay.
Which is fine. You know, music evolves, and you know things do change. But I'd also say it's a lot more inviting.
Okay.
Because if you just strip it down to like the consumer level, I would have not gone to a bassline rave back in 2007 if I was old enough. Not a chance. But now it's a lot more people are interested. A lot more people obviously want to go, and it's a lot nicer, a lot friendlier.
Okay, cool. I mean, in general, I'd agree with you, to be honest with you. It does seem to be there's a bit of a more than anything else, the shift seems to be a lot more towards audio, like sound-wise and sonically. Here, it feels like almost over the years, there's been a lot more kind of EDM influence on bassline, which is obviously a lot more sort of vocal work, a lot more kind of I'd say a smoothness to the overall sound as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, on that point, I think it's more like if I look back to when I first started out, I got a copy of Reason, and that was about it. there wasn't really anything else out there. So like nowadays, you can jump on Lengoland and many other groups, and you know within half an hour you've got a full tutorial on how to create a specific sound. And back then, one of my first tunes my friends used to refer to as Jingle Bells, because it was just using the stock loops and stuff.
Of course, yeah.
Because there was just no sort of information out there, even on where to start. So I think that's another positive and another change since back then. It's a lot more, like I say, a lot more open. You know, if you have got an interest in it, there's gateways into it.
Definitely, man. I think it's awesome to see, and obviously with yourself, coming from those earlier kind of days, and obviously the earlier, I want to say less accessible times in regards to music production in general. Like, do you enjoy the sort of constant software updates, like in regards to new stuff coming out, or are you a bit more of a kind of classicist in the way you make music?
I'm probably the best description is lazy. I've not changed software at all. All I've done is updated to like the modern day version of Reason. So in regards to VSTs and stuff like that, that's all quite new to me. Like Massive and Serum and that, I've only really been able to use them properly like in the last couple of years.
Okay.
Because Reason, I don't know how much you know about Reason, but it was pretty much you've got what you've got and that's it. You can't really add anything in.
Yeah, I remember.
And if you wanted to add something in, you had to rewire it through Logic or Ableton or something like that, and it was just yeah, I used to do it in college with Logic, but no, I just stick to what I know.
There we go. I remember when I was younger trying to rewire Reason with FL purely so I could get my hands on one of the filters in Reason. I just remember the whole thing, the whole process of it just being like an absolute nightmare to do, to get one thing where I could have just rendered an audio clip, which was just kind of stupid looking back.
It's a lot better now, because they've also released it as a VST. Reason, so you can you can load up Reason in like Ableton, Logic. I think you can even do it in Pro Tools as well, as a VST, which is amazing.
That's outstanding, to be fair.
Yeah, it really is, and Reason's kind of like the Android of the music production world. Everyone like looks down on it, but a lot of people use it, and a lot of big tunes from back in day, or across all genres as well, have come out of Reason.
Definitely, man. I feel with the sort of earlier steps of production, and obviously especially in the UK, I feel it really was either FL or Reason. They were the two that everyone used, and then slowly people almost graduated from there onto Logic and Ableton.
The thing I like with Reason is it all comes in the box. Obviously now you can include VSTs if you wanted to, but for many years you could make a top quality tune with just what it comes with.
Definitely. There we go. Oh, right, this has been a good start to this one. Obviously, I'm a little bit guilty of always going down sort of nostalgic paths and nostalgic roads. But out to the crew locked in right about now. If you are locked in, please do send us a signal. We are live on Cubcam TV, and I'm joined by J69, talking about bassline history and a couple of other bits as well. Out to JD Sandy joining us this morning. How are you doing? How's the weather over there, my friend? Out to Luke Parker. Out to Cal Sorensen, of course. I believe the 3000 bass crew are probably locked in as well. They usually lock in the mornings, especially to the more bassline related ones. But there we go. Let's kind of move things forward then. So how do you kind of go from those sort of earlier sort of days of kind of like playing around with sounds in Reason and things like that to essentially establishing yourself within UK bass music? What was the thing that kind of pushed you forward?
Well, sort of back then the Lengoland equivalence was forums, which sound ancient now, don't they? But there was a few. Bassline Kings was one. There was even a section on the Grime forum.
I remember that. Yeah.
So what I used to do is I used to be in there, which I suppose is no different to today. Sort of is in there. It was a good place to sort of find tunes as well as sharing them. So yeah, it was a case that I just used to put a lot of stuff in there, and then get hold of emails of DJs and stuff.
Of course.
Pass it on. There was a lot of MSN, iChat as well, which isn't a thing anymore.
Did you ever use AIM?
I think that's what iChat was. Is that the AOL one?
Yeah, AOL Messenger. Yeah. That
was that's how I used to send DJ Q tunes.
Amazing, man. I remember that program. I always used to have I was young when this was happening. I was like sort of 13, 14 around those sort of times. But I remember having AIM open on one side of my computer and MSN on the other, and literally one side was literally for music stuff and the other side was literally for talking to friends about what's going on at school.
But that's kind of how it happened. It was just more sharing tunes, and it weren't like I don't know. It was just a different time. Like you made a tune and that was it. You'd spend a couple of hours on it. It'd be up on SoundCloud. It'd be up on MySpace, and you'd send out your 5 megabyte MP3 as opposed to your 70 megabyte WAV, and it just sort of picked up from there. Sort of a few not low level, but established DJs in their own right, because how it was back then, it was monthly mix CDs.
Of course, yeah.
So I was getting on them, and then I can't remember what year it was now. It was about like early 2010, 11. I started picking up support from DJ Q on his One Extra show, and EZ as well, because he used to have a show on Kiss.
Of course.
And it kind of just went from there. Obviously, when someone starts playing your music, it gives you a bit more of a more of a buzz, and yeah, I just carried on, and it was moving to Leeds as well what really did it for me.
Okay.
Because I was in Sheffield up until I was about 18, 19, and I moved over to Leeds. And Leeds at the time, it's not as great now, in all honesty, but at the time it was, well, bass music was coming back. So a lot of the nights wanted a room 2, a bass room 2 or what have you. And it was me and I met Livesey.
Okay, yeah.
I was chatting to last week. We met through that, basically. We were doing a room 2 for Deep Rock, right at the early days of Deep Rock.
I mean, this is mad to kind of look back on, man. Like, I mean, we've got some music to play as well, so I want to make sure we are getting some tunage in just before we almost overrun. This one is going by the name of Get Down. This is yourself and SG. So talk to me about this one.
Yeah, so this is one that I've got plans for coming out. It was just a bassline instrumental that I put together. Got in touch with SG, old school bassline MC, someone who I've listened to for many years, and he loved it, jumped on it, and yeah, I think this one's going to go down well.
There we go. We're going to get to this one now then, friends. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. We're joined this morning by a man like J69, looking through bassline history, and we're going to be moving on to what's popping with UK bass music in the now in just a second, so don't go anywhere. Keep it locked. It's Brekky in the Cave. Oh, yes.
We get down like that. No skanking, get down like that. When the bass and drops, we get down like that. We get down like that. When the vibes are rock, we get down like that. No skanking, get down like that. When the bass and drops, we get down like that. We get down like that. When the vibes are rock, we get down like that. No skanking, get down like that. When the bass and drops, we get down like that. If you're not getting down like this, where have you been? Are you taking a piss? But if go up like lift. Move and dance, don't work if you stiff. Gun fingers to the bassline riff. This one's absolutely massive. Can't see my eyes through my glasses. Man's moving like I am spazzing. But yo, man's in full control. Rhythm touch my body and soul. No half-hearted, just doing it whole. J69 and SG. Doing up roads. This one man's doing up loads. Now they all wanna hang cause the energy's real. Yes it shows. We get down like that. When the vibes are rock, we get down like that. No skanking, get down like that. When the bass and drops, we get down like that. We get down like that. When the vibes are rock, we get down like that. No skanking, get down like that. When the bass and drops, we get down like that. We get down like that. When the vibes are rock, we get down like that. No skanking, get down like that. When the bass and drops, we get down like that. We get down like that. When the vibes are rock, we get down like that. No skanking, get down like that. When the bass and drops, we get down like that. Get down like this. Get down like that. Get down low, get down to the track. Get down in the front, get down in the back. That's how we get down. Bass skanking when man them's around. Bubbly basses, them lovely sounds. True, the energy's high like running around. 2 drinks, I'm doubling now. Now it's 2 drinks, I'm guzzling down. Moving bass and mumbling now. It's on the dance floor, yeah, gonna get down. With the one leg in the air like what? With the one leg in the air like me. You like satisfaction's guaranteed. You know that's SG like. We get down like that. When the vibes are rock, we get down like that. No skanking, get down like that.
Right then, my friends, we're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave. It's been a very enjoyable show so far. Out to Luke Parker saying J69's set at Off Minute 10th birthday was an iconic set for me. Small room at Hopeworks. Talk me through that event, J69. What happened?
Yeah, no, I did enjoy that one. Yeah, Hopeworks is one of a handful of sort of underground venues that are still going in Sheffield. Sheffield's an industrial city, so they've got quite a few sort of derelict warehouses and stuff what have converted into nightclubs type thing. And yeah, that were a good night. It's tiny little, it's like a cave really.
Nice.
At the bottom of this like yard, and yeah, it was packed to rafters.
There we go.
I think it took me a good 5 minutes to get from the entrance to the decks.
I've got a real thing for small venues, man. I feel a small packed out venue will always beat a sort of like semi-full big venue. There's something about the energy of a small room.
100%. I mean, I've been lucky enough to play big venues. I did a few of the bass fests, sort of like from the beginning. And don't get me wrong, it's an amazing feeling standing on stage in front of so many people. But I'd take a couple of hundred sweating sweating in a little room and throwing that sweat at me.
Definitely, man. But I fully know the feeling. There's something about being able to see the way I've always put it is being able to see the whites of the front row's eyes makes a huge difference, I think, to the way you play your set.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm quite an anxious person at times. So in some circumstances, it is a bit too much for me. Because you are sort of, you're concentrating, aren't you? You're in the zone, and I'm very much I'm not jumping about or on mic or anything. I'm there for 60 minutes of bassline bangers. So there's sometimes people kind of forget that you are working. But other than that, yeah, I do like the smaller venues. You just get more energy from it as well, don't you?
Definitely. I think it's the way to put it more than anything else is the energy is a lot more easy to transfer, I feel, in a smaller room.
100%. And as well, that then people are there because they want to be there. They're not there because they couldn't get into the other tent across the field.
Yeah, of course. Okay, cool. Let's kind of move things forward then in regards to the kind of things that have been going on. Like, how's the last year of releases been for you? Because I'm seeing your name pop up on so many different projects.
Yeah, I went through a bit of a dry patch, I'll be honest. I was in between houses, didn't really have anything sort of set up. And then beginning of this year, me and my partner, we've got his first house together.
Okay.
So I've got my own little room and stuff where I'm speaking to you from now. And yeah, sort of from January onwards, I've just given it 100%. Because I just want to put all them years worth of work and knowledge into practice now.
It's fully, man. I think as well, the kind of the really kind of cool thing with a lot of this is more than anything else, being able to kind of take all that experience that you've kind of gathered together over the years and almost utilize it in a way which is relevant now. Like, do you spend a lot of time kind of assessing what's going on, or do you just kind of go with the flow?
I did, and I think that's one point that I do want to get across to anyone who sort of does the type of bassline that I do, is it's best to ignore what's going on. I got a tune out, the Bulldog, which was on pure bassline. Big up Darksea and Skepsis for support on that one. That was probably like my last new school sounding tune. I've done a few since, but at that time I spent a lot of time sort of focusing on what everyone else was doing, and it really got me down. I'll be completely honest, it destroyed me. For the first time in years I were not interested in music anymore. And it scared me. It really did scare me, because at that point it had been like 10 years I'd been doing it, and I was, I kind of had to take a minute, reassess what I wanted to do, and then carried on with it.
There we go. I think it's important to kind of have the I think to an extent as well, to be kind of told not to worry is quite important, and not to kind of take too much notice of what other people are doing, because naturally people are going to look at what other people are doing. It's a very human thing to kind of compare.
It is, and I'm ashamed to admit it, but it was a lot of jealousy as well.
Yeah.
And the people involved in the jealousy, I've had conversations with them, and told them that, and explained how I was feeling at the time, and it was good to get it all off my chest, because it was a case of, I've been doing this for years, why is no one listening to me?
Yeah, of course.
And it was a very toxic mindset to have, and I'm glad to have got out of it, because I've got more love for the music. Again, it's come back, so that's the positive.
I think there's something I've always kind of found with jealousy as an emotion. I'm gonna get slightly deep here for 10 to 11 on a Wednesday morning, but I've always found, more than anything else, with jealousy, I think jealousy can be a positive thing if it's utilised in the right way. Like, I've always found as an emotion, I think it's how you approach it that makes the difference with it, because jealousy is essentially you wanting to have something that someone else has. That's essentially what it is. Now, that can either manifest as kind of like spiteful and kind of like hateful in the way you put it across, or it can manifest as energy, which you can use to almost like trip the burners in your engine and double up. So you actually kind of utilize that kind of feeling and the energy that's generated by jealousy to push you further, I feel, anyway.
Yeah, definitely. I think age comes into it as well. I'm 27 this year, so I'm done. I'm done with drama and done with,
Don't say that. I'm 27 this year as well.
Oh, we're done, mate. It's all down.
It's all over. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. But no, I agree. You need to allow jealousy to better yourself, not let it do the opposite, which for me it did do the opposite, and I've got a big gap in my sort of discography, which is not good, because it's just all becomes sort of self-doubting and stuff like that. But
of course.
I'm good now. I'm on a good path, and I've got good people around me, which is good as well.
There we go. That's what I think. That sort of thing, obviously coming out of it, is always quite refreshing to hear as well. To hear the other side, not that it was just a constant thing of sort of down. I think kind of moving forward, then the last sort of 6 months or so, have you found yourself more motivated than ever?
Oh yeah, definitely. Beginning of lockdown, I had a few weeks off work whilst we were working out the whole working from home situation. So I sort of turned my work days into music, doing shifts, having a break, doing a shift again, and I've come out with a lot of music, sat on a lot of stuff, which I'm looking forward to getting out.
There we go. I mean, in general, it's been really sick to see, and obviously I've been getting emails from you with like bags and bags and bags of instrumentals, and it's awesome to see. We're going to quickly, and when I say quickly, I mean we're going to jump into about a minute of this one. There's a track on my listing to play today. It goes by the name of On My Own. Talk me through this tune very quickly.
So this is one what came out of lockdown. Sort of put it together. I can't even remember where I got the vocal from, but put it all together, and it got picked up by Killjoy to put out on his label. So that's out there at the moment, with another instrumental called Lemons.
Okay.
Which that Lemons got put in the bassline playlist on Spotify. So that one's done really well, but unfortunately this one kind of went under radar, but it's out there, so yeah, Spotify and all that.
Lovely stuff. We're going to get into this one now. We're live on Brekky In The Cave, joined by J69. Don't go anywhere.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, COYOTE TV. Stay locked.
What's going on, people? It's FRASER. You're live and direct, locked into the waviest breakfast on the airwaves. Man like Cup Kovu. Bang.
There we go. There's your exclusive preview of that one. J69 On My Own. Really, really cool tune. Out to BL saying your face when that bass line dropped. Haha. You know what? I've got a real thing for niche bass line. This sort of early, almost Birmingham, Sheffield kind of sound. That literally the Birmingham bassline CDs were a big part of my childhood. I remember absolutely loving them and rinsing them to pieces. Yeah, trying to hide it. I'm not doing a very good job of it. I'm enjoying myself more than anything else on this show. Out to BL, locked in, giving us some nice words. But yeah, let's kind of round up. Let's kind of round this one up then, because obviously we've got about 3 or so minutes left before we jump into our next interview. So what's on the way for yourself? Like, what can we expect over the next sort of 6 months?
Well, I've got a couple of singles. I've been working with MCs recently. Obviously, the SG one's coming out soon. And then I've got a tune with him and MNT.
Okay.
Which I've just not got finished. I wanted to send it over to you to play, but I'm going to keep that one back. But if anyone listening is wanting to get a clip of that one, I've got it in a mix, what's coming out on WOB very soon.
Nice.
So you can find it in there. But yeah, I just got a couple of singles. I keep toying with the idea of just whacking out like 10 tracks, because like you mentioned, I do a lot of instrumentals, what kind of just sit there. So I'm debating with that, getting them all out, but again, self-doubt.
Yeah, I think it's the thing. I don't think there's any point rushing these kind of things, but obviously, obviously, people want music, my friend. People want music.
Yeah, exactly. But I do want to get like a big, sort of like a 10 tracker out. So it's like to make more of a statement more than anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I'm just sort of focusing on getting as much out there, trying to work with as many people as I can, like vocal-wise. So getting a bit more confident in approaching people, and it's paid off with the tunes that I've got sort of sat on.
There we go. Okay, well, we're going to finish up with one more. Now this one is just looking at this one, it's right up my street. Going by the name of You Fool, produced by yourself, featuring K. Triller and Bomber B. Talk to me about this one. How do you find working with MCs in bass anyway?
This one was mad. I made the instrumental and sort of thought to myself, I'd love to have Bomber on this, Bomber B, because I made it off the back of listening to the 4x4 takeover.
Yeah.
On One Extra. So I kind of got to a bit with him on, and I was like, yeah, I need to turn this off. I need to make a tune. So I made the instrumental, sent it to Tom Locked at 140, because I knew he at the time he was sort of debating putting out some older sounding stuff, and then he kind of helped me orchestrate it all together, get all the MCs on it, and it's definitely one of them, like, I didn't imagine to be doing this.
Awesome, man. Well, this is going to be a perfect way to kind of round up today then. Dude, thank you for jumping on the line. This has been a really enjoyable conversation. I've had a great time.
No worries, man. Likewise.
Nice stuff. Right then, we're going to finish up with this one. Dude, one time, what is your best social media tag before we get into this?
J69 Music, on everything.
On everything, there we go.
Although on SoundCloud it's -1 at the end.
Okay.
Because a cheeky, at the time, 7-year-old remix of Heartbroken got me took down.
Oh, no. I would love to dive into that story, and you know what, we're going to have to do it sometime. But thank you, J69, for coming on the show. There we go. We get the round of applause up there. Good stuff. Right then, let's get into this one. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky in the Cave.
Ski and J Bomber.
Yo, yeah. This one's mad, you know. We got to the baseline scene on one track, you know. They can never tell us stop with the noise. If we took the gal E-tap, you know. We put baseline on our map, you know. Get booked in Sparkle trap, you know. J69 on the decks, Bomber and Triller on our mic, it's daft, you know. It's daft, it's scary, you fool. Don't ever try to get leery, you fool. My niggas don't wear high vis, but they'll catch man on site there with a tool. It's daft, it's overly sick. Bang this one in a phone and a whip. Man stood about just talking this shit while we go home with your bitch.
I just came through Millie rapping. Today we did some silly shopping. Now we're up in the club, they be showing man love in the gal and my pilly popping. I didn't see nothing, I went watching. I was trying to make sure the man them got it. So I moved to the thing and the brethren blocked it. Spot my spit and the bouncer clocked it. Hold it down, hold it, hold it, hold it down, hold it down. Take two draws and send that smoke around. Like going to the rave, cause it ain't really a rave. It ain't playing bassline sounds. It's trill at Tremaine, Trillo, ski. Get with the wave, what's round.
It's daft, it's scary, you fool. Yeah. Don't ever try and get leery, you fool. Yeah. My niggas don't wear high vis, but they'll cash man on side there with a tool. It's daft, it's overly sick. Bang this one in the phone and a whip. Yeah. Man stood about just talking this shit while we go home with your bitch.
Jump, get bad in the rave, it's so mad up. Champagne, bust them like you start gather. Gal wanna hover the cause, no bother. Bang us after the club, the gal wanna dagger. Baseline thing, no vibe like ragga. Shutting down dance on mic. Get mad, but you know we get madder. Get bad, but you know we get badder. Hey, that Chalowski, NJ Bomber.
Right then, my friends, we're back inside the building. Just gone 1 minute past 11 here on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave, or if you're listening on Trickstar Radio, I don't know what time it's going to be on Trickstar Radio. Everything's going to get a little bit muddled up as we kind of move forward. But we are now live on the line with a man like Tom Fraser, representing Coyote Records. How are you doing this morning, my friend? Are you all good?
I'm all good, thanks, man. Yeah, nice to be on. Thanks for having me.
No worries at all, man. This is one that I've wanted to get done for a while. I seem to say that every morning. I just want to do a lot of things by the sound of things. But yeah, really looking forward to this one. Obviously, you're someone who is very kind of involved in, I'd say, 140 music and the surrounding areas. Obviously, what in the sort of written side of things. Obviously, Coyote Records is a very well-established platform at this point. Kind of going back to the beginning and the sort of earlier days, what was the thing that made you want to kind of start the project?
I used to get sent loads of music, sort of circa 2010, 11.
Okay.
And there was nowhere for a lot of it to go, so there was no real platforms for kind of weird instrumental grime music, and not even just instrumental grime, but just stuff around the sort of 140 mark. It could have been maybe a bit like leftish funky or whatever. There was just nothing. There was no real labels investing in it at the time, and obviously this is pre-streaming. We're talking like 9 years ago. So. Yeah, I just decided. I thought through my writing work, I'd got a network of producers, and kind of I got introduced to like mastering engineers, and I had like a nice network of people that I just thought, you know what, no one else is doing it. I might as well just have a go.
Yeah, of course.
And then I just asked a few people I knew, like T. Williams put me on to like the mastering engineer. A guy called Oscar who produced the South London Ordnance. He now lives in Berlin. He's more of a techno DJ now, but he put me onto my distribution at Cargo. Like this, I had like loads of leg ups into sort of setting out professionally, and that was it. And I just kind of made it up as I went along, to be honest. Nice,
man. I think you see the thing. The maddest thing about this, I find, is a lot of the time with labels that come across very kind of professional and very sort of well thought out. A lot of the time, they do kind of start from that thing of, oh well, no one else is doing it. I may as well give it a go.
Yeah, completely. And I think, like, I always, whenever I get asked about it, I always have to shout out Butters, because Butters were they were the label at the time that were actually like investing in grime music. You know, they were releasing it properly. It wasn't just, you know, YouTube and sort of the odd like tune thrown out on iTunes. You know, they were releasing music properly. You know, they were pressing wax. They were doing radio. They were sort of engaging within it. They were building a network of people that were actually invested in the way they were. And I was inspired by that. I thought, you know what, if they can do it, and they're repping their sound, and that's something that, you know, other people should be doing. And it was like I say, it wasn't like a planned thing. I didn't look beyond like a couple of releases, to be honest. I just went for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's in general though, the kind of layout of Coyote as a label, like where would you kind of put it genre wise at this point? Would you say it's a grime label first and foremost?
Not at the moment. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I love grime to bits, but my personal tastes have kind of evolved over the years. So I would say it's its own little niche, to be honest, at the moment. I don't know what you'd call it, because it goes from, you know, I can put out stuff from 091 and Last Japan that will be, you know, pretty much straight grime, but then I can go and put something out from someone like Marks in Florida, who just makes like weird, like trap, hip hop, ambient beat stuff. So. I don't really know. I couldn't put a genre on it, to be honest. But yeah, like I say, my tastes have evolved. I always like keeping grime at the core of it, whether that's a certain sound palette or a reference. It doesn't have to be like straight 140, you know, greasy instrumental, but there's always an element of that sticking around, I think.
Definitely, man. And I think the interesting thing with this is obviously from the sort of writing background you're involved with, to kind of see all of these sort of influences that are essentially grime influences. I think one thing that grime has in the UK over all the other genres is the fact more or in some way or another it has influenced the other genres. You know, it has been an inspiring factor in a lot of these newer sort of drill, sort of UK trap, UK rap. It's been an inspiring inspiring factor in even wave as well. A lot of these genres have taken elements of that original sort of grime sound and run with it and put it into their own boxes. But like from like a written perspective, have you enjoyed that kind of shift in sound?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think it's a lot more interesting. I mean, I'm a bit of a sucker for looking back to sort of 2014 to 16. That was I just loved that period where grime evolved to a point where you had the whole box sort of movement, and grime became this sort of like really intense. There was a lot of like melodies moving around, and it was just a very rich period. And that evolution from sort of 2011-12 to that whole box sound, I found fascinating. And where it is now, it's tailed off a little bit, to be honest, at the moment. And I think that's natural because everything evolves all the time. But yeah, I did enjoy that development in sound for sure. I think it was always going to happen as it opened up to more people. But I couldn't have. If you told me in 2011 that there'd be some of the stuff I'd be listening to in 2015, I wouldn't have believed you, because it's just it was so far removed from what I originally came into listening to. But yeah, no, it's been a nice journey, I suppose, through that.
Awesome, man. I mean, before we kind of dive sort of headfirst into the label, sort of like the early history and stuff like that, one question I always like to ask anyone really who like represents like a written outlet is what do you like to see in releases to this day? Like what's the thing you kind of look for and that makes you go, I'm definitely going to feature that?
To be honest, I feel like all music is worthy of critique. Like whether my personal tastes kind of go out the window, to be honest, a little bit, because you have to kind of be objective and think, these are people that are sent. It's not like we're reviewing Adele and Wiley records, or or maybe not Wiley, but it's not like we're reviewing big pop records. You know what I mean? Like these reviews can impact on people. If you pick up a copy of Mixmag and someone like me's slated your work because I don't really like the sound, that's not really the job. It's more about understanding where these people are coming from. So often often it boils down to how things are presented, to be honest, and how they're sent to me, and what kind of vibe I get from the person that's sending it. Obviously, I've been doing it for like nearly 8 years, so I've got a good network. I know the scene. I know most of the people that send me music. But yeah, and also I have to, because I do grime and dubstep, I have to, I can go from right the way from like deep, sort of really deep headsy dubstep, right the way through to kind of really like angry scuzzy grime. So yeah. it's quite a big sphere to navigate, to be honest. But yeah, it's not really about my taste. It's more about being objective and understanding that the stuff I am going to review. I do get sent a lot. I think every reviewer will get sent a lot of music. But yeah, it boils down to sort of how it's sent to me, really. Yeah, I'd say that's probably the main
go. So again, this because the common theme a lot of the time with this is the idea of presentation and the approach more so than the product. Because if the product's good, the product will sell itself to an extent.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting to hear, man. I mean, we're gonna move forward, obviously, onto Coyote. That's the main thing we're kind of here to talk through, which is I've been really looking forward to this, man. I've been following Coyote for years. Like from a fan's perspective, I've just loved the kind of the level of experimentation that goes into the sound, and even from a fan perspective, I coming from Brighton, obviously, I spent I used to go back to back with Drone a fair bit. So I've got quite a cool connection with Drone in that kind of way. Like, and he was one of the people that first got me looking at Coyote, and then I went back over and looked over the discography and looked over how many of these like sort of cool releases had been that I didn't even realise were released on Coyote were released through you guys. So like in regards to the catalogue, like do you ever find yourself looking back over it and going like, oh, that was a good time, that was a good time.
Yeah, quite a bit. I did that before this interview, to be honest, because I had to go back, and it's been so long now. It's been 8 years. There are definitely some there's definite highlights. I think every release that I've released is, I've invested, because a lot of it was released physically. It's not like, every release has had a tangible impact on me. As a human being, I've had to, I didn't come from. I wasn't doing this with like loads of spare cash. It was a real labour of love, and so everything I put out, I believed in and cared about, and tried to treat with as much respect as it deserves. So I think looking back across it, I'm really proud. I don't think there's any release I can look at and go, oh, that was a bit of a stinker. Like, I'm really proud of everything we put out.
That's awesome, man. I think having that kind of almost appreciation for your own catalogue as a label head, I think is something that is so important, and I think it shows to an extent that you've been doing things the right way. That's what I would say.
Big up. Yeah, I guess so. I just think because it's just me, so it's so personal. It's like an extension of me, So when you put it out there, you know, you've got if you're not fully invested in it and you're a bit worried about what people are thinking about it, or you know, you're never going to do the records justice because you're not fully in it, you know. So with it just being me, it's not like I've got anyone else to kind of, you know, if we do something badly, I can't really pass the buck, you know. It's like it's me. So everything I do has to reflect the facts that I'm doing this purely because I love music and I love releasing records from people that I like and find interesting.
There we go. A very good start to the show then today. Let's get into this one from Last Japan and AJ Tracey. This one goes by the name of Ascend. This is obviously quite a big tune in the catalogue. One of the tunes that is a kind of like a standout, I would say, both for the quality of the tune itself and also the impact it had. How did you find this, putting this one together?
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, AJ is someone that back in the Radar Radio days, I didn't go very much, but I went there one day for Spokes, who is an artist on the label, was just doing a guest set for somebody else, and I just popped along. And it turns out AJ and Big Zoo were there, just as a lot of MCs were at the time. They just sort of go to Radar for practice hours kind of vibe. And yeah, he just came over and he was like, "Oh, can I jump on? Like, can me and Zoo jump on?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like, I didn't know his name at the time. He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, sure." Like, speak to Spokes. I'm sure it'll be fine. And Spokes was like, "Yeah, sure." And he jumped on, and both of them were very good, but AJ just blew me away, to be honest. He did some bars. He remixed So Solid 21 Seconds. He did his own version of that over like some mad instrumental, because he had no idea what Spokes was going to play. And he did these remix So Solid bars, and I was like, oh my god, this guy's a problem. And then he just took my number, and I just said, look, you know, I've got some bits and bobs coming. I'll be in touch. And I literally texted him maybe a few days later and said, I'd love you to, you know, I've got Last Japan's got a load of beats, and I just sort of had a listen through to what we had, and I just sent over the Ascend instrumental, and I said, if you're interested in writing it, it'd be great to have you on. And he'd written the tune. He wrote the tune in about a week, maybe less than that. The bars were back in a week, and then we went and recorded it at Last Japan's house in Bow in East London. And yeah, we sat there. It was done in an hour and a half. The initial recording was done in an hour and a half.
That's amazing, man. I mean,
that was in 2015.
I mean, this is kind of sick to listen through, and obviously to hear like about how the process of it came together, and the fact that it was very organic, done through radio, and all these things there. Like it's almost like a classic kind of link-up story.
Yeah, completely. And then from there, he played quite a few nights for us, and he was coming on radio. He did a show with us on Bellamy with Last Japan. He played shows for us in Bristol, like tiny venues. He was coming to play for like, I'd give him, you know, a couple $100 and a hotel, and he was coming, you know, he was just the model professional. For someone of his age, like, he was obviously very new at the time to what, you know, to the wider industry, I suppose, and he was just an absolute model professional. I never had one issue with him. He was never late, he never let me down, he never rang up and questioned anything, he never asked for more money, you know, like there was just nothing. He was just a brilliant person to work with. So
amazing,
very lucky.
There we go. I mean, it's sick to see, and then obviously to see the success he's kind of come into from that. You'd assume to an extent that kind of has played a part in that success being so like rapid.
Yeah, for sure. Like he had his head screwed on. Him and Zoo, to be honest.
Yeah.
They both had their heads screwed on. You could tell when you met them. You know, it was different. You know, I've met a lot of MCs over the years, and obviously I love MCs. I love working with MCs, but they were just different. They had a totally different mindset. They were aware of things that, you know. AJ was just he was the surveyor. Like, he'd look at the scene. He'd step back. You know, he wouldn't believe his own hype. He would just kind of observe, and then he'd sort of make moves from that, and I respected that.
Yeah, amazing. Really cool stuff then. Right, let's get into this one. Last Japan and AJ Tracey. We are on the line with Tom Fraser, obviously representing Coyote Records, live on Clubcam TV. If you if you're listening via the podcast, of course, we are also live on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud, and of course Trickstar Radio as well. At some point this will be going out, so good morning all Trickstar people. But yeah, we're going to get into this one now. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're live on Clubcam TV.
Yo, listen, look. Pull out the bumpy, let a man have it. This pump leave a big man asthmatic. Knock man soul right into the attic. Send man spirit off to the next planet. Can it? Man will get more than static. All my people got green like Namek. Watch yourself, it's man down, I'll tan it. Not Montana, please don't panic. Trinidad boy, so I do speak Spanish. I'm mixed race, no, I'm not Hispanic. Squeeze off twice and I'll make a man vanish. Talk fried in the West 10, get banished. Abracadabra, bang, no magic. Mum start cracking, the thing so tragic. Bad talk when you're round here, won't have it. You're not not on it. Boys won't back it. Pull out the Rambo, make a man take it. When you see a black car shank, don't leg it. Girls wanna stretch out, show me the kitty, they calling man round, cause they know I'm gonna wreck it. Did it, when it's on top, don't beg it. Finish the deals, no peas, I'll shake it. All of all you done, no man read it. My place inside men just spread it. Celtic bloodline, so man don't pet it. Who warrior in the beef man said it. Frugal, give me that skank on the wing, I'll bang bang the thing, no a man won't head it. Big man getting called out, no credit. Get 2 kicks to the rib, no medic. Came through with a Shaolin technique, this flows from the east like Nico Bellic. Hold tight for that bar rule legend. All my man them still live through essence. I don't wanna hear no one talking about fear. Eskimo dance man feared my presence. Got girl them all by man presence. Came up hustling, real block peasants. Us man we spit the truth in the booth, but you man the gas like Philip and Terrence. AJT won't let a thing slide. Cruising up.
Right then, my friends, we're back inside the building. We're keeping the music moderately short this morning, purely because we want to get into as much conversation as possible. Also play bangers, of course. You know that's how we do it. We like to keep bangers rolling, but we want to get into conversation because we've got two kind of veterans in their own rights here. So we're talking to Tom Fraser this morning. This in-between phase then, between kind of setting up the label and kind of almost experimenting with things and taking things as they go to being in the position you are now. What would you say the thing that's changed the most about your approach is?
I think there's a few things. I think one of the things was just stopping caring what other people thought. I mean, I think J69 said it earlier, like, you know, looking at what other people were doing, and I think everyone's guilty of that when you first start out, because you want the validation, you want that instant feedback loop, you want people to like what you're doing, especially when it's personal. And I just stopped doing that after about 8 releases. I think I got to sort of 2014, 15, and I just thought, do you know what? I'm doing this because I want to do it. I'm not doing it for anything else. And that totally changed the way I approached releasing music, what I was interested in releasing. I didn't seek out endless feedback on certain producers or what do you think of it. I just stopped doing it, and I just started trusting my own instincts, and it was freeing to think like that for once. And I've been like that ever since with the label. So that was one thing. And the second's probably streaming, to be honest, which I just think, I mean, I work for a major label day job, and you know, streaming is a massive part of it's a massive part of the industry now. But I think for smaller labels like mine and people that are pushing niche strands of music, it's kind of impacted, especially digitally. It's just made things a little bit more difficult because everything feels quite saturated. So I've had to kind of be a bit more inventive. You know, we did a label zine that I put together and edited and wrote. We did a zine. I've done, you know, like really weird release formats. I'm doing a USB for the Filter Dread album. We've done tapes, CDs, I've done art prints, I've just had to be a bit more, I guess, inventive, I suppose. I mean, it's not really like I'm doing anything that groundbreaking, but just playing around with formats to keep things a bit more interesting, because I think streaming is kind of condensed listening down to a very kind of passive experience, and I'm quite an advocate of things being really proactive, you know, and my favourite experiences in music are never going to be, you know, I logged onto Spotify and opened up Grime Shutdown. You know, that's not my most exciting experience.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, my most exciting musical experiences are things that I can hold or things that I've seen, or so I'm very much a lot
more about the kind of physical, a lot more about, almost to an extent, that the process behind finding music is something that I think is almost missing now. That process of sort of digging, from crate digging to kind of like searching for hours and hours and hours, and almost being, to an extent, kind of given what you're supposed to listen to.
Yeah, completely. It's like discovery. Streaming on one hand is a discovery tool, because it's not like you can discover new music, but it's a discovery. It's a discovery tool that's almost tailored for you. Like, it removes the actual element of discovery. It's passive discovery. You know, you're not actually doing any searching. It's just stuff turns up for you. And I just think it's kind of removed that agency from the listener a little bit. So I think with Coyote, it's something I'm very passionate about, and it cost me an arm and a leg. It's not like I make loads of money off it. I just enjoy doing it, and I've got, you know, when I look back in, you know, hopefully when I'm an old man, and I can look back at this and this period of my life and go, well, these are things I actually did. You know, who knows if streaming's going to be existing in 50 years? You know, I can't say, oh yeah, you know, my biggest legacy is X amount of plays on a playlist. Like, I'd rather have factual, physical things that I can look back and go, I remember doing that, you know?
Definitely, man. I think the interesting thing about streaming is obviously that when you look at sort of like younger generations, especially, this is almost to an extent all they've ever known in regards to releasing music. So it's kind of, what I was going to say is to kind of balance that with sort of younger producers you're kind of working with. Do you ever find there's a bit of resistance when you kind of say, look, let's do something a bit different?
No, not really. I think I've never had that, really. I think to be honest, more people that I speak to want to do physical stuff, and it's more of a like, if there's ever any, not disagreements, if there's ever any friction or a little bit of back and forth, it's because somebody will want to do a physical format, and I'm not 100% convinced it will make sense, because, like, for example, a lot of newer producers that I'll look to or sign or kind of help and develop and whatever, you know, pressing 300 vinyl of their debut EP. I mean, I'm not going to sell 300 copies, and they're forever. You know, we're never going to recoup that money. It's going to, and that's fine. Like, I don't mind doing it. I've done that many times. But in this current climate, it just feels a little bit counterproductive. So you have to be. There is a little bit of that sometimes, but most of the time, no. I think everyone kind of trusts that I know what I'm doing, which is a blessing, because I don't always. But,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think just trust my instincts, you know.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I think that thing of the instinct side of things, I think, is a combination of obviously sort of natural instincts in regards to sound and understanding sound, but also I think the experience obviously is working in that sort of written field, seeing releases and how they've done a lot more sort of first hand, and obviously being around a lot of producers over the years, you do kind of get you almost get like normalized to processes, I feel.
Completely, yeah. It becomes sort of second nature, and a lot of people, I forget, a lot of people are not privy to that side of it. You know, they don't see things like I do and don't have the kind of exposure to that side of it. So yeah, no, definitely.
Nice, man. I mean, kind of moving forward then, I want to squeeze in 2 more tunes before the end of the show. So this one coming to us from Emma, I believe it is, or EMMA. And it goes by the name of Pumpkin Emoji. Talk to me about this tune. Like, how did it come together? What's the sort of layout with it? Let's go.
Emma's just an amazing producer. I've known Emma for probably 6-7 years. She's released quite a lot of music over the years, but not. I wouldn't say she's a prolific producer. She has sort of bursts of activity, but yeah, we've been talking about. She's remixed a couple of tracks on the back catalogue, and we've been talking like loosely about doing something. And she just sent me Pumpkin Emoji and Mind Maze, the other side on this 12, and I was just blown away. I was just like, we've got to put this out. She's kind of she's a completely her own sound. I don't think she sounds like anyone else, and that's kind of the baseline for Coyote stuff. Really, is I try and get people to, you know, that sound completely different, have their own. Like, you know, if you listen to, say, if you listen to Last Japan, to Marks, to Emma, to Silk Road Assassins, to, you know, each of those producers has their own unique kind of sound, and you know it's them from the minute you hit play. And I think that's what Emma's about, and yeah, it's just an incredible record. I'm just very, very grateful for her to trust me in putting it out.
Lovely stuff. Let's get into this one then. We're live on Cubcam TV, just gone 23 minutes past 11 here. Keep it locked. It's Brekky in the Cave. We're joined by Tom Fraser and Coyote Records. Right then, my friends, we're back inside the building. It's Cubcam TV. Tom Fraser joins us on the line as we look through some, quite frankly, amazing music and an amazing catalogue. This one goes by the name of Pumpkin Emoji by Emma. Again, something very, very different. But what we're going to finish up with is looking at the new project, which is on the way from Filter Dread. Talk to me about this project overall, and we can sort of round up with this.
Yeah, so for one, like having Filter Dread on the label is a massive thing for me because he's an incredible producer. He's released on some really big, sort of well-established labels. He's an incredible producer. He's made this album that we're putting out. It's out on July 3rd. It's made entirely on hardware. And yeah, like the album itself, I mean, we've been going back and forth. He came on the COYOTE Rinse show in December last year, and I sort of just said, like, you know, I'd love to put something out. Just not expecting anything back. It was just more of a, like, hopeful, like, sign-off when we said bye after the show. And then he emailed me a load of tunes and said I'd love to do something. And he was making quite a lot of stuff. And what I tend to do is I'll tend to, because I have such a kind of singular vision for the label, because it's just me, I kind of have a way of, you know, kind of pulling tracks out that all kind of fit together. And I was just, out of the tracks he was sending, we managed to sort of piece together an album, basically, that kind of, from start to finish, you know, edge to edge, listens how we both want it to listen, and it just feels like a really cohesive body of work. And he's written it all, like I say, on hardware, and it's kind of inspired by the confusion in the world at the moment and trying to decode a lot of what's going on. Yeah, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's not totally in keeping with what I've done before, because he is so unique as a producer. But I think music he plays and the way he is, and he's obviously released, he's worked with Circadian Rhythms, which is Last Japan's label, obviously. So we have quite a lot of crossover anyway in terms of our sort of mutual friends and music contacts and stuff. So it just felt like a really nice fit, and he's just a lovely bloke.
There we go.
So yeah, it's been great to work with.
Awesome, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the whole project kind of drop and land out there, and obviously get the kind of push with things. Out to Misdigest TV, man, like Mispa locked in, saying this tune's spicy. I believe that's about the Emma tune. Saying big up Tom Fraser, big G. There we go. That's what we're talking about. With this one, I've picked probably my favourite tune on the album, which goes by the name of Space Flex. We're going to finish up with this. Just in general, what can we expect from COYOTE over the course of the next sort of year or so?
I aim to release kind of a minimum of 4 records a year. The majority are physical, so each record has a sort of 3-month lifespan from getting pre-masters to actually putting it out on wax. At the moment, obviously, that's been difficult because of COVID, so having to be a little bit more inventive with how we put stuff out. But yeah, so before I've got music. I mean, we've got music from Utah, who are released from a great EP from last year. There's a new artist that is the first time I've ever said this, but she's called Urte. She's been on the show before on Rinse about 2 years ago, and she started making tunes, sent me some unbelievable music. I was just like, oh man. So I just kind of signed that on the spot. So that'll be coming out this year. And then yeah, just trying to sort of. I mean, it's a difficult time for everyone, so I don't want to put any pressure on all the producers that I work with generally. So it's just more taking it as it comes. But we've got two more records after Filter Dread's out. So
there we go. Good stuff. Right then, dude. We're going to finish up there. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on this morning. I've got to say, really enjoyed this one. Obviously, keep in contact. We speak quite regularly anyway, so it's quite cool to kind of to keep this link open. And we'll speak soon.
Big up. Thanks very much for having me, man.
No worries at all. One time, what are the best social media tags for yourself and the label, just before I forget?
The label is it's COYOTE_records on Twitter. It's COYOTE Records UK on Instagram, all together, no gaps. And then myself is just Yes Thomas. It's Thomas without the H.
There we go. Good stuff. Right, let's get into this one then, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you all this morning. We are live on Cubcam TV. It's Brekky In The Cave. As you all know, you can follow the podcast, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, over there, if I get my spacing right. You can see that we are on Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud, so if you're locked in through there, please subscribe to that as well. If not, please do hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, as you can see by pressing that little button down below me right about now. Also, catch myself on socials at KXVU on the Instagram, also on Facebook, Facebook, Twitter, and of course SoundCloud as well. All of those the same at Cub KXVU. And a quick word from our sponsors to finish us up. Sharpen Digital, they're one of the main people that have helped this channel kind of grow so rapidly and build into the platform it is. Obviously 432 subscribers in 13 weeks. Very happy with that indeed. As you can see, the alternative to hiring social media managers, they've helped me out a lot with the SEO and different bits for the channel to make sure that the views are getting out there and people are seeing the channel. So there we go. Official sponsors of Brekky In The Cave. We're going to finish up with this one, and I'll see you all in the morning. We've got a mega show tomorrow. We're going to be joined by Opus, J Beats, and Mask as well. So it's going to be a really good triple threat. So yeah, keep it locked. Don't go anywhere, and I'll see you in the morning. Peace.